And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
A large proportion of the 7,000 plus crop circles that have appeared worldwide are highly complex and incredible. However, some can only be described as absolutely spectacular. Since 1993, the pentagram has been a consistent feature of the crop circle phenomenon, with each season introducing innovative designs incorporating this five-fold geometric figure. Unfortunately, due to its misrepresentation in movies and TV shows, the pentagram has often been associated with witchcraft and the occult, but this is far from the truth. In fact, the opposite is true. The pentagram is the ultimate geometric representation of life, growth, and renewal. The outer perimeter of a pentagram can be enclosed by a pentagon, which itself can be contained within another pentagram. The centre of the pentagram also contains a pentagon, which can similarly give rise to another pentagram. This recursive process can theoretically continue infinitely, both inward and outward, symbolizing growth and regeneration. In nature, the pentagram manifests in remarkable ways. A starfish, for example, is a living embodiment of the pentagram, as is the arrangement of seeds inside a halved apple. Count the petals on most flowers and you'll often find 5. In fact, wherever life grows and regenerates, the number 5 and its geometric counterpart, the pentagram, are likely to be found. One of the pentagram's most fascinating qualities is the golden ratio, also known as phi. This proportion, found between two of its components, has been revered by philosopher geometers as the divine mystical proportion of life. It appears throughout nature, which includes the human body. Over the years, many crop circles have showcased the pentagram in breathtaking designs. But on the 7th of July 2018, an extraordinary formation appeared at Martinsell Hill, Wiltshire, that shocked even seasoned researchers. This formation featured 28 pentagrams nested together, taking the expression of this geometric figure to unprecedented levels. Longtime researcher and author Professor Michael Glickman called it a masterpiece of historic importance. Reconstructing the formation on his computer required 3 days of intense concentration, during which he made numerous mistakes. Computers, he remarked, are more forgiving than wheat fields. Glickman emphasised the genius of the formation, particularly its incorporation of 4 different sizes of pentagrams, perfectly expressing the principle of growth and regeneration. A striking aspect of this design is that each pentagram is constructed from 135 individual isosceles triangles, rather than 28 interconnected units. According to Glickman, this was done specifically to allow visitors to walk through the formation without damaging the crop, a feature often overlooked but remarkable in its intent. This concept of walkable designs was first observed by Glickman in a crop circle at Froxfield, Wiltshire in 1994. Known as the Flower of Life, this design appears simple to draw on paper with a compass. However, closer inspection reveals gaps at each junction, demonstrating that the design was deliberately expanded to create walkable paths.
Now, we all know that geometry, and all crop circle people know that geometry, and they have a kind of mental blank. They think, oh, if the crop circle is based on the Flower of Life, we just draw it up like that. Now, here's the point about that. If you want to walk from one space to another, there is no gateway, there is no invitation, and worse, you have to trample the wheat down.
When you come to draw, let's say, the Flower of Life, which many people are familiar with, and then you consider performing the task that we see in the formation, which is to expand the geometry out in all directions to make these hospitality portals, how much more difficult does that make it, and how do you go about doing it on paper?
I have to tell you the truth, it's very difficult indeed.
Similarly, the Martinsell Hill formation incorporates this walkable feature, adding another layer of complexity to an already intricate design. Next, we turn to another incredible formation that appeared at Pickt Hill, Alton Barnes, Wiltshire on August the 13th, 2000. What makes this formation extraordinary is that its 44 logarithmic curves are constructed entirely from straight lines, a true feat of ingenuity and precision. The construction process can be summarised as follows. Draw a circle. Insert 44 radial lines. Add 19 concentric circles. Remove circles 1 to 4 and circle 19. Insert diagonal lines into the resulting 616 boxes. Remove the construction lines to reveal the finished design. To truly appreciate this formation's brilliance, try reconstructing it yourself on paper, but remember, no erasers allowed. It must be perfect on the first attempt, just like the 100-metre crop circle version. A simple precursor to this design appeared nearby at Southfield, Alton Barnes in 1997 and was in fact my very first crop circle. Named the torus, it consisted of 12 circles within a larger circle. At the time, researchers speculated that the circle makers were preparing us for more complexity, a theory confirmed 2 years later with the Pickt Hill formation. On August 28, 2002, crop circle photographer Steve Alexander captured an image of a new formation at Crooked Soley near Hungerford, Wiltshire. It was fortunate that he did, as the farmer harvested the field later that day, preventing any ground inspection. At 100 metres in diameter, a modest size for a crop circle, its true significance lies in its intricacy and meaning. Renowned researchers John Michell and Alan Brown found so much to analyse that they dedicated an entire book to this formation. At its centre is a perfect circle of standing crop, which is approximately 15 metres in diameter. Notable for lacking a centre point, a nearly impossible achievement without leaving a mark. Traditionally, of course, this is done with the aid of a compass, which always leaves a mark or indentation on the paper. Any attempt to draw this symbol freehand without the aid of a compass will almost always result in an imperfect circle. Try it for yourself. This recalls the legend of Giotto, the Italian painter who impressed Pope Boniface VIII by drawing a perfect freehand circle, symbolizing mastery and the infinite perfection of creation. Surrounding this central circle is a spiraling DNA strand representing mitochondrial DNA, which is passed exclusively through the maternal line. This genome plays a vital role in evolutionary biology, anthropology and biogeography. The design's construction parallels the Pickt Hill formation but is exponentially more complex. It requires 144 radial lines and 36 concentric circles to create 1,296 individual boxes. Of these, 792 are flattened and 504 are left standing, forming a rotating DNA spiral. The numbers 792 and 504 caught the attention of Alan Brown, who consulted John Michell, a pioneer in sacred geometry. Michel's earlier work demonstrated that these numbers align with the dimensions of the Earth and the Moon. Earth's diameter is 7,920 English miles. The combined radius of the Earth and the Moon is 5,000 5,040 miles. 5,040, the combined radius of the Earth and the Moon, is the sum of 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7. What are the chances of the numerical relationship of the Earth and the Moon being the sum of multiplying the first 7 numbers? What's even more astonishing is that 7,920, the diameter of the Earth, is the sum of 8 times 9 times 10 times 11. What an amazing coincidence that the first 11 numbers that we learn to count as children, when multiplied together, actually incorporate the dimensions of the Earth and the Moon. There's a lot that could be said about this, and we'll explore that in future episodes. But put simply, these numbers hint at a high level of order to the creation of the universe, as opposed to random chaos theories espoused by modern-day cosmologists. Discovering that the DNA spiral contained the derivatives of these numbers, 792 and 504, Alan Brown and John Michell were able to open the door to the deep meaning contained within the Crooked Soley formation. By encoding the same numbers, the Crooked Soley crop circle is making a connection between the order of creation and the matriarchal line of the mother. To understand this, we must once again look into antiquity and the creation of the first writing systems. The very first alphabets used by humanity were Hebrew and Greek. What separates these alphabets from all others is that each letter had a numerical equivalent. This system is known as Gematria and means that any written sentence also has a numerical counterpart. For example, the word Jesus, when converted into its number equivalent, adds up to 888. Remember that the original number of boxes used to construct the mitochondrial DNA spiral was 1,296, which is the sum of 792 and 504 added together. Amazingly, 1296 is the sum of 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Converting this number, 1296, into the Hebrew alphabet reveals the sentence, "the goddess of all creation."
To me, even now, after having lived with this diagram for 2 years, my hair stands on end. I've got goosebumps because, you know, as a designer, if someone came to me and said, look, I want you to design a picture which has got 792 elements somehow and 504 elements, see if you can come up with something interesting. To come up with that, a perfect rotating DNA spiral, encoding those numbers, is in itself a work of genius. But then to find that in a wheat field in August, there, beautifully formed, and it seems to me the most sane way of dealing with this is to accept that this is a demonstration of a level of intelligence and compassion towards us, which is pulling us up. We have to look at the square in the face, and I think it's a truly extraordinary bit of intelligence and geometry.
The word geometry literally translates as earth measure, geo meaning earth, metry meaning measure. So using the measurements of the Earth and the Moon to design a rotating DNA spiral, the Crooked Soley crop circle is clearly pointing toward the ordered creation of the universe, and at the same time reminding us that the mitochondrial DNA that we each carry around inside us, that has been passed down through the matriarchal line since the beginning of creation, connects all of humanity to the primordial Eve, the goddess of all creation. This crop circle, therefore, not only connects the order of the universe to the matriarchal line, but also invites us to consider whether such complexity is the work of human hoaxers or an unknown intelligence communicating profound spiritual truths. The formations presented here are just a glimpse of the spectacular circles that have appeared over the past 40 years. Their intricate designs and hidden meanings continue to captivate and challenge researchers. In future episodes, we'll explore even more of these revelations, but for now, let me know what you think about these 3 examples in the comments below.